Good day, esteemed viewers. Imagine a world where you never have to touch the steering wheel again. A world where you can read, sip tea, or even take a nap during your commute while your car handles the chaos of traffic. Today, we're delving into the realm of autonomous vehicles, the self-driving wonders that promise to reshape our cities, our commutes, and even the way we think about cars. Sit back, relax, and let us explore how self-driving cars will drive us into the future. Just remember to keep your seatbelt fastened. We're still in the beta phase. To appreciate where we're headed, one must understand where we've come from. The notion of a self-driving car dates back as far as the 1939 New York World's Fair, where General Motors envisioned highways filled with autonomous vehicles. Though at the time, this vision was more about futuristic whimsy, much like predicting we'd all be zooming around in flying cars by the year 2000. But the journey truly began in earnest during the 1980s, when Mercedes-Benz Carnegie Mellon University started experimenting with automated driving systems. In 2009, Google decided to join the party, giving us the infamous self-driving Prius, wandering California roads with a big spinning thing on top, hardly inconspicuous but promising. Today, we have Tesla's Autopilot, Waymo's Robotaxis, and countless manufacturers jumping on the bandwagon. What once seemed a far-off fantasy has rapidly shifted into a race for fully autonomous vehicles. Progress. Marvelous, isn't it? Now, before we surrender our driving duties to machines, it's essential to understand the 5 levels of vehicle autonomy. We'll keep it simple. No algorithms, I promise. Level 0 is where most of us spend our days. Humans fully in control, hands on the wheel, foot on the pedal, and occasionally shouting at the car ahead. Level 1 and Level 2 are where we find features like adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assistance. Think of it as the car giving you a polite nudge every now and then. Quite civilized, really. Level 3, however, is where the magic begins. Conditional automation, where the vehicle can handle itself in most situations but requires human intervention when prompted. Not unlike asking for directions and getting a vague answer, take a left then, just keep going. Level 4 offers high automation, where a car can drive itself without any human input in specific scenarios. And finally, Level 5, true autonomy, where steering wheels are entirely optional and the vehicle can do everything independently, including finding the nearest cafe when you're craving a scone. Now, dear viewers, you may be wondering, how exactly do these autonomous vehicles navigate our complex world without causing chaos? The answer lies in a symphony of technologies, sensors, cameras, radars, and LiDAR, all working together to paint a real-time 360-degree picture of the vehicle's surroundings. If only we humans had such attention to detail while reversing into tight parking spots. Then there's the artificial intelligence, the true mastermind behind the wheel. Using algorithms, the vehicle's AI can identify obstacles, predict pedestrian behavior, and, in theory, make decisions faster than a human. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 94% of road accidents are caused by human error. By eliminating human drivers, autonomous cars could potentially reduce these numbers drastically. And, might I add, there's something quite poetic about a car that doesn't get distracted by texts, emotional outbursts, or the overwhelming urge to yell at traffic lights. One of the most exciting applications of autonomous vehicles is in the realm of public transport. Imagine a taxi service that doesn't come with awkward small talk, questionable driving skills, or an overly enthusiastic air freshener. Yes, I'm talking about autonomous taxis. Services like Waymo in the United States and AutoX in China are already deploying driverless taxis in select cities. Vehicles are entirely autonomous, no driver's seat, just a destination to be input, and off you go. And speaking of autonomous taxis, let us not forget the memorable Delamain car service from Cyberpunk 2077. Delamain, a sophisticated AI chauffeur service, bringing smooth rides, witty conversation, and occasionally the chance to engage in a philosophical debate. A vision of what urban mobility might soon become, perhaps with fewer glitches and rogue AI personalities. Imagine summoning a self-driving taxi. Instead of idle chatter, you're greeted by a refined voice saying, "Where may I take you today, esteemed passenger? And should you need assistance, no need to tip your driver, just a firmware update every once in a while." But what will happen to our cities when autonomous vehicles are the norm? Well, for one, traffic congestion could become a relic of the past. According to McKinsey & Company, widespread adoption of self-driving cars could reduce urban traffic congestion by up to 30%. As vehicles will communicate with each other to optimize routes and prevent those dreadful traffic jams. Imagine, no more waiting in endless queues, just the steady hum of progress. Car ownership, too, may become a quaint notion. The rise of autonomous taxis and ride-sharing services could make owning a car an unnecessary expense, allowing urban residents to summon a vehicle only when needed. Fewer cars on the road also mean less need for parking infrastructure, freeing up space in our cities for parks, bike lanes, and more pleasant public spaces, areas where one might stroll, read a book, or contemplate the meaning of life, as Delamain would. While it may all sound like a utopian vision, the road to autonomy is not without its potholes. For one, there's the issue of regulation. Most countries do not yet have the infrastructure, laws, or even consensus on how to manage self-driving vehicles on public roads. As of today, only a handful of US states and countries like Germany have paved the way for limited autonomous driving. Then there's the question of ethics. How does an AI make decisions in a no-win scenario? The classic trolley problem: does the car swerve to avoid hitting a pedestrian, even if it means putting its passengers in danger? These moral conundrums are yet to be fully addressed, and frankly, I'm rather relieved not to be in charge of that particular firmware update. And of course, we cannot ignore the elephant, or rather, the glitch in the room: software failures. Even the most advanced AI isn't perfect, and the implications of a glitch at 70 miles per hour could be catastrophic. Perhaps in time, we'll achieve true reliability. Until then, a bit of caution, dear viewer, goes a long way. Autonomous vehicles will not only change how we drive, but also how we work. With self-driving trucks, for instance, the logistics industry could save billions annually. Goldman Sachs estimates that by 2030, over 300,000 truck driving jobs could be lost each year in the US alone. It's an economic transformation that could create as many challenges as it solves, as industries adapt to automation, displacing human labor. On the other hand, autonomous vehicles could open up new opportunities. Imagine the elderly or those unable to drive having newfound independence. No longer reliant on others, they can simply summon a car and be whisked away to the market or a family gathering. The ripple effects could be profound, reshaping not only our economy, but our society as a whole, perhaps even leading us to a future where, dare I say, we are all passengers. So, what does the future hold for autonomous vehicles? They promise to redefine the way we move, transforming our cities, our economies, and our very perception of travel. But the journey is still fraught with challenges: technological, ethical, and social. We are on the cusp of a transportation revolution, yet there remains much to navigate before we can all put our feet up and enjoy the ride. Self-driving cars are more than a technological marvel. They are a glimpse into a world that is, dare I say, more efficient, more accessible, and perhaps even more delightful, at least for those of us who would rather not deal with the unpredictability of rush hour. And with AI like Delamain waiting in the wings, maybe a bit of charm and personality behind the virtual wheel isn't such a bad idea after all. If you enjoyed this exploration into the autonomous future, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, sometimes the best driver is no driver at all.